Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to Where Energy Meets the Divine, and welcome to another fun multisensory podcast. Thank you for listening. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, thank you for subscribing. You can listen to this podcast on pretty much any platform. So I'm happy that we all get to come together from all over the world and learn about energy, awareness, consciousness, and how you as an individual can raise your vibration, maintain a frequency of your own beautiful, stunning energy, and change your life, which is really what reincarnation is all about. It's about having fun on this beautiful, interesting planet, about allowing desires to come forth and recognize how you can manifest in a physical reality. And it's also about healing, changing your perception. As soon as you see something differently, then your outside world has to change. That's my job as an energy healer, besides moving energy and being a medium and highly, highly psychic / intuitive, whatever word you want to use that makes you happy. My primary job always is to shift a person's perception, because that's what locks us into our problems, our inability to grow or change. We have a perception about something, could have been taught to us, could be something that we've held on to for many, many lifetimes. It could be that we're in resistance. We're afraid to change. Humans are afraid of their magnificence. I think humans are not as afraid as they think they are of being broke or lonely or sick. I think that we're kind of like cockroaches. We can survive a lot, but we are very much terrified of our magnificence. And for all of you who are out there asking, why? Get rid of the why. That takes a lot of analyzing and processing to figure out. And let's dive deeper into allowing ourselves to experience the divine. Because once you start to experience the divine, meaning you hear it, you see it, you feel it, you somehow have an experience, and you pay attention to them, they begin to become more consistent. And then you start following this magical path, like your own yellow brick road, and things start working out amazingly for you in your life. So in order for you to have these mystical experiences, it will be critically important for you to stop listening to your mind, unless you are doing something logical. If you're calculating a load because you're an engineer and you need to help keep airplanes in the air, please listen to your logical mind. If you're balancing your checkbook, which I don't think many people do these days, listen to your logical mind. If you're driving in a car, listen to your logical mind. And always, no matter what we're doing, even illogically, we do need to have a sliver of our intuition in those logical aspects as well. But other than that, listening to the mind when you're not doing something inherently logical and needs calculations and all of those things, you are wasting valuable time. You are playing with mind-made emotions that are not authentic. You're not listening or following or feeling your natural guidance system. And even though in the big scheme of things, whatever path you take, whether it's a tiny path you're taking right now or a long-term path that you've been taking for your entire life, if you go off the alignment, that means that you are not listening to instinct, you're not listening to your intuition, you're not paying attention to your spirit guides, departed loved ones, you're not learning from a higher vibrational frequency, you're still going to learn. You're still going to have great opportunities. You're still going to have potential for change. It'll just be a little more challenging, a little harder. It might take longer. And so there's really nothing wrong with the choices you make in the huge, big continuum of universal knowledge. You always will have opportunities. But if you start listening to the divine, feeling it, experience it in some way, however your intelligence, your magnificence intelligence will allow you to have those experiences, then things are going to move much smoother, quicker, with more fun, more excitement. You'll actually have even more opportunities for critical expansion versus listening to the logical mind. When I was a nurse and I began to open up to these abilities, my first thought was, oh, I'm just going to teach the rest of the nursing staff and whoever wants to learn in our medical facility how to do energy work. I thought that's what my purpose was with this ability. That's what I really thought. And I was very excited about it. But the universe had a very different plan for me. They said, it's kind of already been done. I mean, we have modalities. Most people don't know but many hospitals throughout the United States have energy work available for free. It's not uncommon. Healing Touch is a large organization that has provided energy work around the world, and not just in American hospitals. And there are other organizations, like at the University of Washington, they have a quantum, that's the word they use in their healing modality. You go to the University of Washington Hospital, ask for some energy healing work, and a practitioner will show up at your room, help you and your family with energy. So the universe said to me, you really need to start your own business, because if you stay in an organization, for you, it will be limited and you won't be able to be in the full vibration of your experience. And I heard that and I followed it. And that's why we get to talk here today. So the problem is either someone's not hearing. And when I say hearing, reading energy or feeling the divine in your life, it's a combination of a sensory perception. You might hear one thing, you might see another thing, you might feel something. I was in my kitchen before I came in to record, eating food, and I felt a hummingbird and saw one in my mind. I knew there wasn't one out there. It's kind of cold today, and I don't have a bird feeder out right now, a hummingbird feeder. But hummingbirds are representations of joy. So to me, that was the universe telling me that I'm having a really great day, that I'm in alignment, I'm on track. So you may get these impressions. You may have gotten them all of your life, but a lot of people ignore them, or they don't put enough weight into these experiences. Most people are waiting for like a FedEx letter that's 3 pages long, double space, that's explaining something to you from the universe. And it rarely works that way. I mean, it's never worked that way for me. So being available to hear, see, and feel, and I say all those words because it doesn't matter how you're going to experience it. In fact, if you wish it were like the way someone that you know experiences, stop that. If you wish that you would perform energy work or mediumship like someone else, stop it. Maybe they're the inspiration for you, but we want your own natural gifts and talents to come through. You might be teaching the very next technique that shifts the consciousness of energy healing or mediumship. We don't know, like we're just learning. We're still in the infancy of consciousness on Earth about the multisensory world. We were definitely more into it during the dark ages, but that wasn't a really fun time. It was lucky to be intuitive because you could see things coming, but it wasn't a fun time for anyone else. So here we are back in this more public accepting aspect of consciousness, where people can be free to even talk about it and even make a living as, someone who hears, sees, or feels energy. So try not to get caught up in what it's supposed to look like or how it's supposed to feel. You want to be a sponge of awareness, of consciousness coming through so that you can understand how you work in the multisensory world. So when I was in the kitchen and I saw this hummingbird in my brain, I knew that was the universe telling me I'm on track. Joyful things are coming down my path. Things are only going to get better and brighter for me. But my human side also looked out the window. I'm like, are there hummingbirds nearby? I mean, what's going on? It's like 48 degrees outside. They've got to be somewhere warm and cuddly. So not listening to your mind is a big part of this interesting unweaving that all of humanity needs to do in terms of this unhealthy attachment to this one organ in their body, the brain, which is incredible and has massive functions, but that functionality is only for logic. It is not an intuitive process of your body. Even though the third eye rests in the center of your brain, the third eye acts as a projector, like a television screen, and it passes on intuitive information through some of your senses. But if you think and analyze and process a lot, which believe me, you're not in a unique club. You are in a massive, multi-billion, over analyzed process of something that human beings do all the time, which is not helping them to evolve. So quieting your brain. You may even ask what that looks like. And for me, quieting the brain means to become present. And I think people can have meditative moments. That's what I do. I have many, many meditative moments throughout the day because I know how to be present. Right now, as I look down at my desk for just a moment, there's a new crystal I got. I don't even know what it's called, but it was mined here in Washington State. One of my favorite crystal shops, Earthlight in Kirkland, really close to me. Sometimes their owners go and mine things in different parts of the country or even outside of the world. At any rate, it's so pretty. So as I'm speaking to you, I will occasionally look down at this crystal because it takes me to the present moment. My present moment is I'm sitting in a chair. I have these headphone things in my ears. There's a mic near me. There's a window on my right-hand side and this crystal down close to my left-hand side. So I will consistently, all the time throughout the day, whether I'm working or not, put myself back in my present moment, start to enjoy the present moment, find the richness and it's vast. The present moment allows your energy, your soul, your consciousness to dive into the nothingness. And that's where everything is. Everything is in the nothingness, which I know sounds really weird and kind of cray-cray, but it's true. Everything is in the nothingness. So if you start to train yourself, because it is a training, we want to train our minds to focus on things that are actually practical and important, not analyzing and processing things that have never even happened to you or never will, or they happened a long time ago and you don't want it to happen again. So why are you thinking about it? I have no idea. So when we talk about things like our spirit guides or departed loved ones, they are already in the nothingness. They are in this high vibrational energy, always communicating to humans. Humans are surrounded by divinity and love and higher levels of consciousness. They always have been, they always will be. I was reading a comment, and I read all your comments, but I rarely will answer them because I don't have the time to do so. But I was reading a comment where I talked previously about expanding one's auric field to be close to 3 city blocks. Even 1 city block is incredible. And the person said, well, what about all the energies that are out there? But the reality is we walk into everyone's energy all the time. So it doesn't matter that your beautiful auric field is 3 city blocks in every direction. It's going to fill up with energy. It's going to feed you. It's going to give you higher levels of consciousness. We already walk into everyone's energy all the time, constantly. But it's like if you walk into each other's energy, because the other side is only 3 feet away from us. So dead people walk in our fields all the time. If your auric field is contracted, then you don't get to really understand or interpret the information that's available, that's out there for you. When your auric field is expanded, you have a better ability to absorb insight, consciousness, awareness, so that you can stay on that healthy yellow brick road for you. Your guides and your departed loved ones who are around you all the time. So please expand your auric field. And it's your auric field. You talk to it, you ask it to expand, and it will. It's your energy. They are here to talk to you about important things. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm unique in my mediumship ability, although I see dead people easily. I understand their personalities. I can see their clothing, whatever necessary identifying factors that someone needs to be convinced that I'm talking to their loved ones. That is what I receive. But what I receive after that, after, the person's like, oh yeah, that's Uncle Henry, or yeah, that's my husband, or yes, that's my child. After that, the loved one wants to communicate how their human family member or friend that is still on earth, they want to help them to expand. So that's kind of the uniqueness that I bring to mediumship, is I offer what the dead person is communicating to the person still in a body. and how they could expand, how they could change, how they could transform, whatever is needed, even if it's more of a detailed explanation of what their loved ones experiencing on the other side. The same thing is true for your spirit guides. Your spirit guides want you to expand. They hope that you evolve. They have gone to the Akashic Records, which is a library, a public library in the fourth dimension. It's the space between earth and heaven. So earth is the third dimension. The fourth dimension is the astral plane, and the fifth dimension is the heaven for our earth. And inside the astral plane, along with many, many other things, it's a huge reality, bigger than earth, is a library, public library called the Akashic Records. And it houses all of your past lives, anyone who's had a human experience. And scrolls are like a blueprint of every lifetime. And they're in these beautiful cubby holes. Depending on how many times you've come to earth, there's a blueprint for every single lifetime that you've had. Your spirit guides, once you pick them from a hologram, so you pick them from a hologram before you incarnated, they agreed to guide you from the moment you were conceived until you safely crossed to the other side, which there's no danger. The most dangerous place in the universe, Earth. Earth is the lowest frequency reality. And other, realities or planets that are like Earth, lowest vibration. Once you leave Earth, the words war and famine don't exist. They're not in any vocabulary. They're only present in our reality. For good reasons, but that's a whole nother long conversation that we will branch upon in the future. So your guides, no matter how many you chose, 3, 5, 22, people have different numbers of guides that are there to inspire them to find their alignment while they're living on earth. And if you stop listening to your mind and over analyzing and processing, you can be guided. Just like when I was in the kitchen, I was, having fun making food and enjoying the process of free morning, which I didn't anticipate, which is really nice. And then I saw the hummingbird in my head. So your spirit guides, once you've picked them from this hologram, they go straight to the Akashic Records. They go straight to the library and they study all of your human previous lifetimes. And they also ask for any non-human lifetime that would be helpful. They ask to have those files as well, so they know everything about you. Most importantly, they know your magnificence. They know your natural gifts and talents. They believe in you and they want to help you to have success here in this physical reality. So, learning to quiet your brain so you can get impressions and feelings about things would be hypercritical for you, so that your yellow brick road has a smoother ride, so that you don't get off the yellow brick road to process something that happened 10 years ago that doesn't matter anymore, because that's what humans do pretty much all day long. So try to get present at least once a day. Just try it. Try it for like 2 to 3 weeks. Every time my guides have given me instructions and homework assignments and ways to move energy differently, I try it all out before I ever teach a client about it. I believe in homework. I give lots of homework to my clients and students. And I've tried it first, and I don't just try it once. I try it out for several weeks to see how it feels. Does it raise my vibration? Can I consistently connect to it? What are the caveats I could teach someone else to maintain their vibration through this technique? So the technique I'm explaining today is for you to manage your mind. Realize it's not an intuitive device. It is a logical device, like a computer, and it has limitations. And intuition is 1,000 times more accurate than logic. And solutions that you will love and be helpful for your life come through the intuitive vein of your existence. And your spirit guides and loved ones from the other side want nothing more than to help you to really understand the bigger picture so you can get out of the way, surrender, and align to your destiny. Okay. After all of that being said, I'm going to go to our phone lines. They're really voicemails that people leave. You can go to energyintuitive.com or mariemanuchehri.com, go to the podcast page and leave a voicemail. There's instructions how to do it. You do get a free self-hypnosis, for being so gracious to leave us this lovely voicemail. And now I'm going to listen to them. We all are. And I'm going to answer them, give my intuitive impressions. I would pay attention to the solutions because even though they are directed for that individual, they could be very helpful for you too.
Hi, Marie. This is Jamie, and I live about 5 hours east of you in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Thank you so much for answering my question. So I'd like to talk about my career. A couple years ago, I was trying to launch this business idea that I had. It was these lots of ideas. It was ethereal and joyful, kind of multifaceted, but not a lot of form. And so I felt like I was spinning my wheels and I wasn't quite ready energetically for myself. So it all aligned. My father-in-law at the time needed somebody to basically start and run his TMS clinic. So he's a psychiatrist and we treat patients with depression using transcranial magnetic stimulation. So the past couple of years have been really good. They've been, I've learned a lot and it's been a beautiful chapter in my life, but it definitely feels like I'm being called back to running the business that I was working on. So my question is, how do I keep my vibration high enough at work during this transition while treating the patients who are often in a low vibration because of the depression? Because I'd really like to make some headway with my business. So the problem is I'll get inspiration regarding the business on Sunday afternoon after I feel rested from the weekend, but then there won't be enough time to take action. And by the time I get back to it later in the week, what had felt inspiring on Sunday now feels like empty or anxious. So it feels really crucial for me to stay in the high vibration because my mind does tend to go in a lot of different directions. And, people call it ADHD. I like to call it multiple curiosity disorder. But because my business ideas are so ethereal, I'll go down a path a little ways and take a few steps onto that path, and then 7 or 8 new ideas come up. So it's wonderful, but it's also really confusing. And so I feel like I'm splitting my energy all over the place. So I'd love to get some insight on how to get some momentum going on just any aspect of my business so I can have an actual starting point and one that brings me joy. So thank you so much for all of your help and your generosity. And I just really appreciate it. And thanks. Okay, bye.
You're welcome, Jamie. It's my pleasure. So 2 things. When we're manifesting something, one of the key ingredients, and you don't have to know what it exactly is that you're manifesting, is for you to feel like it's already happened. Not how it happened, not what it is, not why, where, none of those things. That the how, what, where, when, or why lead us into logical aspects, and that can lower our frequency and our vibration. So if you could do that for a couple minutes, once or twice a day, that would be remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Now, the other thing, when I was reading your energy, you tend to run somewhat phonetic energy. And so phonetic energy isn't always grounded. It may not be useful, and it feels high, so it can kind of be confusing. So when that's happening, and sometimes that happens to me when I'm in groups of people, not teaching, but with friends, we get all excited about something. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. And then later I'm like, no, it's not supposed to be that. So very high vibrational energy has a calmness to it. You're going to feel a lot of love coming towards you from the universe. So look for the calmness in these new inspirational ideas. Look for the calm. And then when you hit a good idea, the universe is going to support that. When I was making a decision to go from radio to podcast, of course, the radio show did not want me to do that and gave me, 5 logical reasons why it's not a good idea. And so my mind was analyzing some of that decision making, but the universe supported me. Like I was teaching a class and someone from Spotify was in the class and said she had been wanting me to switch to podcasts for years. And then other people would say things, my kids who have given me great advice over the years because they're young. It's nice to hear their young opinions. And, oh yeah, mom, podcasts, definitely podcasts. So once you hit on an idea that comes from a genuine high vibration, the universe will support it. It doesn't mean it's going to support it in 30 minutes or in 24 hours. You have to learn to be patient. Also, one of the reasons why you tend to run phonetic energy is because you don't remain patient. You have to wait a little bit. You have to fill it out. Become present. Become present. So that's what you need to do at work to help your energy stay high, is to become present. That means you need to find things in the work area that you loved. I happen to love the technical part of nursing, so I could stare at an IV bag or the lock on the narcotics or even the charts that we signed in, which now it's all electronical, which is kind of cool. I wouldn't know how to do that. Or needles, anything that was technical in the nursing aspect just brought me great joy. So find something in the clinic that makes you happy. You don't have to know why. It does not matter why. And focus on that off and on during the day. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. And hi, Charles, if you're there.
He's here.
My question relates to how energies interact with one another, or I guess how energy vibrations. I know you've spoken about how our energy is supposed to extend 3 city blocks.
Right.
And so what I'm kind of wondering is if your energy is extended out that far or even less, how do the energies of other people and events and things interact with your energy, if at all? Because I was kind of thinking, if, let's say, a block away, there's, some horrific thing that happens. If your energy is extended out that far, are you like in the energetic splash zone of, a murder or, whatever happens that's really awful, or even just people who are running their energy very low, maybe they're living in fear or something like that. So I was just curious about how those energies interact, and because the thought of extending your energy out so far kind of almost feels vulnerable. Anyways, the thought occurred to me that maybe when you raise your vibration really high, then it's more difficult for lower vibrations to interact with you. But then I was thinking, well, then how would someone with a very high vibration be able to, read people with very low vibration? So anyways, if you could give me any sort of maybe an analogy, or I'm a really spatial learner, if that makes sense, like understanding where things are in space and time, which is maybe really bad because it's energy. But
Right.
anything that you can give me to kind of help get my bearings on that would be helpful. Thank you so much. All right, bye.
You're very welcome, Pamela. Everything is made out of energy. So it doesn't matter if your aura's, only 3 inches off of your body, tight as heck, which I would never recommend, or if it's miles. It doesn't matter. Every single thing is made out of energy. All of your thoughts, all of your organs, all the space around you, the chair that I'm sitting on, the computer I'm talking into, everything is made out of subatomic particles. Charles, who barked earlier, so yes, he is here. So you can't escape it. And so you want your energy as healthy as possible so that you can experience life to the highest level around. When your energy is elevated, when you're happy, you've learned to be present, you see the bigger picture of even things that some people consider negative. So a lot of it has to do with perception. Like, I don't think that death is a negative thing. I think it's very interesting. I also find disease to be phenomenally interesting. That's what allows me to help people heal, because I have a more positive, authentic perception about the vibration of the body and wellness. or the lack of it. So what you just described is analyzing and processing. Why don't you, instead of thinking about this, sit in the lower half of your body? So go sit down somewhere that you like, that makes you happy. Feel your glute muscles on whatever you're sitting in. Really focus on the lower half of your body. Bring your energy down to the foundation of your energetic system. And then ask your belly button or your hands, because it helps us feel like we're not asking our brain to please express to you what is in your highest good about the mingling of energy. You cannot unmingle energy. Everything is made out of energy and everything is vibrating. So there's nothing to be worried about, in my opinion. Okay, thank you.
Hello, Marie. Thank you so much for all you do. Period. I have listened to you for a long time, and I was blessed to have a one-on-one meeting with you back in 2003.
Oh, nice.
Period. The reason for my call today is just to have a brief reading around my daughter. Period. She's 15 years old. She's a lovely gal. She's at a pivotal point in her time and high school career, and I would just like to know more about her life. And she has had a couple of situations in her freshman year that startled me a bit, but I'm trying to stay on the path of divinity and knowing what is best for her and what is mine to do and what is hers to learn to do. Anyway, any insight that you can provide, I would be very thankful. Thank you for all you do again, and I look forward to hearing your response. My name is Shelly, by the way. Thank you.
Okay, Shelly, your daughter's young. I think boundaries and rules are really important for young people. I grew up in a house that didn't have those, and so I made sure my kids did. And it definitely had a better outcome, I think, overall. So 15-year-olds don't always make the best decisions or choices. They might have great insight about the family or life in general because they're still fresher from creation than their parents are. But they need boundaries. They need rules. And I wouldn't be so worried about her future right now. She has a lifetime to figure out what she wants to do or doesn't want to do. I wouldn't add that pressure. One of the things I held in my consciousness for my kids is that they're successful. I didn't think about what success looked like. My overall feeling about success is happiness, authentic happiness. So just hold the vibration of success in your own body in relationship to your child, and don't waver. Don't analyze, do not process, and set boundaries. No, you cannot hang around people that do drugs. No, you can't have a party where everybody's drinking. You have a curfew. You have to be home at a certain time. You have to get good grades. That's your job, is to go to school and get good grades. So I would definitely set boundaries, which may be part of the issue. And please don't worry about her future. Let her figure that out when she's ready to figure that out. 15 is too young to plan that out, in my opinion, unless, some incredible skill sets of hers have popped up and you're nurturing and giving her opportunities to polish those. Otherwise, let her be 15 with boundaries. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. This is Kristin calling you from Florida. I have a question for you. I've been married for 15 years. We have 2 sons and we have another one on the way. My marriage has sort of hit a really rough patch lately, and I'm really looking for any kind of guidance or support I could get from my guides, my inner being, to see if I should stay in my marriage or look elsewhere, move on, and create a different life. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I appreciate you. Love you. Thank you.
Hi, Christine, and congratulations on your 3rd child. When I read people's marriages, I can even see if someone's going to break up. That's why I will tell people, not now. You're about to have a baby. And, infants are a lot of work. I don't see you leaving this relationship just now, at least a couple years down the road until, I don't know, you have some significant plans made. And I always recommend people, if they're going to leave a marriage or create a union, to do it because it feels great. It feels wonderful. And I know that sounds weird. How could leaving a relationship feel great? But people will, when it's in their best interest, they'll get excited about it. And I think people should do, if they're going to leave a relationship, they should do it when they're excited about it, because that means that things are going to work out in the highest good for everyone involved, including kids. And you're going to have 3 of them soon. So as long as you guys are physically safe, maybe you want to start planning for the exit, once you've recovered from delivery and all of those things. But I don't see you leaving for a couple of years. And I think it would be great if you could focus on the things that make you happy about this union, whatever they might be, because that will help you to maintain this frequency and this vibration. I hope that's helpful. I truly do.
Hi, Maria. This is Joe from the Four Corners area in New Mexico. And I am calling with hopefully not too general of a question about my experience this lifetime in the body. I've had some very interesting and challenges with the body. I was born with a genetic disorder, limb-girdle muscular dystrophy, which is just general weakness, so it's not incredibly difficult. Although now at 66, more difficult getting around. But I've had strange illnesses, doctors not being able to figure out things right away. I had my uterus out when my mid-20s. In 2015, I had my thyroid removed for thyroid cancer. Mm-hmm. I recently had my gallbladder removed, kind of unexpectedly, and kind of in a strange way that was found out. Anyway, the recovery time has been very challenging, and I'm having continued pain. So I'm not asking really for a diagnosis. It just seems like I just have one strange thing after another happen. Also, about a year and a half ago, I was injured at work. And it was a simple fall that should have just been a simple fall, but no. My tibia fractured or broke, and my fibula, so now I've got a rod and a plate and screws, all kinds of metal in the lower left leg there. So yeah, just strange phenomenon, and I struggle with communicating with my body.
Right.
And I have been working for some time now to be a little kinder to my body, because it gets very frustrating at times. Anyway, that's kind of my question overall. And if it gets picked, that would be great. And I send you blessings, and thank you for your podcast. Always interesting.
Thank you, Joe. I think it's interesting too. I really do. So you do need a diagnosis. Of course you do. You need an energetic diagnosis. That's part of being a medical intuitive, is finding the energetic reasons why a health issue appeared. So energy has to change in the body before illness can set in. Anything in one's life, if it's money issues, the energy has to change in that part of their life in order for money issues to occur. Relationships, the energy has to not be in alignment, which would be a change, or people can be born, with having an aspect of their life energetically not stable, and then they have issues regarding it. So you absolutely do need a diagnosis, an energetic one. And obviously this is autoimmune related. You were born with an autoimmune issue, really. And children pick, if they're going to be born with a disease, they've picked it prior to reincarnation for really really good reasons. That would be part of the big picture scenario that we can actually have insight into if we allow ourselves to be present, which is also fascinating. So autoimmune issues are governed by the third chakra. And each one of the chakras has an emotional component. And when the energy is off in the body, it means that the emotional component is not met. That means you don't know how to hold the emotion of the third chakra. And the emotion of the third chakra is self-love. So the more a person experiences love for themselves, not just a thought, but an actual experience, just like when I love Charles, it's an experience. When I love my kids, grandkids, trees, nature, the beautiful bobcats that live outside, that's an experience. It's not a thought. I'm actually having oh my God, those are the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. I think bobcats are really gorgeous, by the way. So you don't know how to do that. It's time for you to learn that. It's critical that you learn that. It's very important that you learn this. This is what your body, one of the main reasons why you reincarnated into the physical reality, because you had a health issue that affected your whole body to some degree, which is always autoimmune, and it has an autoimmune component to it. And then when the body doesn't stay healthy and continues to have health issues, that's because the immune system is not working very well. So you want to learn self-love. You want to know what it feels like. You want to be able to experience it and it's something that needs to be experienced every day. Every single day. Even if one of my cats is a brat, I don't stop loving them. I may be annoyed, but I still love them to pieces. So that's your homework, and that's what the universe wants for you. Work on this. Start by having lots of positive internal dialogue. Like, I'm so proud of you. You're an amazing person, Joe. You're incredible. Start having internal dialogue that's very loving and compassionate and kind, because that helps people to soften, this false belief that we're not supposed to love ourselves, which we are. We are. It's incredibly important. Great question. Thank you.
I'm Dana. I have an inability to orgasm with my partners over the span of my life. And it's very frustrating. And it makes me question my relationships. I've been with my partner now for 15 years, and it's obviously affected our relationship. I've let go of the need to try to increase the potential to have one, and just enjoy and kind of try to relax. And I've been observing the relationship. I did for quite a few years referee the relationship, but I've been observing it and just trying to increase my own vibration, and my partner has brought their vibration up.
Nice.
Also, but there's still a lack of intimacy and connection. And I want to know what you thought I could do to make things better. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana. So this is really your issue. It's not your partner's issue. It's your issue. A lot of women have this problem, by the way. Men, obviously not so much. The only men that I've met who have orgasmic issues are men who are incredibly controlling. It could be internally controlling, it could be externally controlling, but they have issues or could possibly have issues with orgasm. So this is because you're in your mind, overthinking and analyzing. Here's your homework assignment. And you're doing all the right things, letting go, working on your vibration, your partner's working on their vibration. But if you could get out of your head and actually put your energy where your genitalia is, then I think you're going to start to free some of that energy so you could actually let it move. Because an orgasm is about movement of energy, a substantial, beautiful expansion of energy. And so since we're on the topic of the female aspect of it, some women who don't choose partners that are good for them or safe for them are not going to orgasm. They're not. But you've had this for, most of your relationships, if not all of them. So we know that's not the issue. And I checked on your partner and I don't see anything that would cause you to be unsafe. So this is about you getting out of your head and pretend like you're in the labia and the clitoris and in your vaginal area. Be a part of it, because I think it'll get you out of the head so that you can move the energy freely. Okay, those are my thoughts.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I go by Ashley. I'm new here and really excited for this opportunity. I'm from Mission, Texas, and I could use some guidance with direction and healing. I've been suffering with awful migraines and currently needing to make a decision about a risky surgery to remove a growing tumor in my head and neck area. My question is this tumor surgery absolutely necessary, or is there any healing that can be done to prevent it? Or will the surgery actually help and possibly rid me of these migraines that put me down for 1 to 2 weeks at a time?
Oh,
I appreciate this opportunity and I'm so grateful for the guidance.
thank you, Ashley. Couple of things. Will the surgery get rid of the headaches? Possibly. Headaches, people who have, significant headaches or regular headaches, it's because they're blocking their own intuition. It means they're also incredibly intuitive and they're afraid of their intuition. They're afraid of letting go of their mind, and they're probably too controlling in their brain. And that's what creates pressure in their head. But even benign tumors, if they're growing and your doctors have said this is not a good space for it to be growing, it does need to be removed. People can also pass away from benign tumors. If they're near important organs or in the brain, eventually they grow into, potentially they could grow into, and you said growing tumor, they can grow into important parts of the body that can't have tumors in it. Like heart can't have tumors in it, the lung can't have growing tumors in it, the liver can't have growing tumors in it, on and on and on. So a lot of people think that a benign tumor, and I know you didn't say that yours was benign, but I believe it is. And I believe it is because I saw a picture in my head of someone who was a newscaster in our area who had a benign brain tumor. And so that's why I believe it was benign. Which intuition will show you images or memories of certain things that are correlating to whatever you're reading in the moment. It's one of the ways intuition works. So I wish I knew more about the risky surgery. You could get on my cancellation list because we prioritize people who have serious health issues. So if you want that, just write into energyintuitive.com and my assistant Caitlin will put you on the list. So I wish I knew more about the risk of the surgery. But from what I'm sensing, I don't think you have an option, because if it were to stop growing, which would be amazing, then that's a different story, right? That's a completely different story. But if it's continuing to grow and it's going to affect your carotid arteries, because we don't want those to have problems, we don't want parts of your brain to have problems, then the tumor needs to be removed. However, because this is about your intuition, right? Because of the location, although the neck part is about speaking your truth. Because this is about your intuition, learning to become present, as I've spoken about a lot in this podcast, could help the tumor to stop growing, because that's something your soul wants you to learn. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had all these weird headaches. That's what I think anyway. I hope that's helpful. And I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast today. I hope that you become present. I hope that you have magical experiences in the present moment, because you are meant to. And may you experience, whether you hear them, see them, or feel them, your departed loved ones and your spirit guides. Joyful blessings. Bye-bye.